If you had the choice to give your team £1 billion or the best facilities in the world, what would you choose? Today we're going to put it to the test. I'm giving Barnet £1 billion and their National League rivals Oldham the perfect facilities. Who do you think is going to climb up the leagues the quickest? In Season 1, I am not expecting too much. Barnet and Oldham are not predicted to get promoted, and Wrexham and Notts County are far too good not to go up. And that prediction is exactly what happened. Notts County win the league and Wrexham win the playoffs, with both Barnet and Oldham finishing just outside the playoffs in 9th and 11th. But I suspect Season 2 is going to be completely different. By this stage, Oldham will have trained up some decent players and Barnet will have spent a ton of money. Or neither of them get promoted. They came 3rd and 4th but couldn't get themselves into the Football League. Barnet actually lost the playoff final on penalties to Gateshead. That is really unfortunate. Their highest earner is Ben Winter, who's on £17,000 per week. I think I see the issue with Barnet though. They are paying big wages, but this guy's current ability is only 84. Not the type of player that's going to get you promoted from the National League. Oldham are starting to make these facilities work though. They've got 3 players in their under-18s with 150 plus potential ability. So all of these guys should go on, if they reach their potential, to be really good Premier League players. They've actually got 4 17-year-olds in their first team already, and this guy is the pick of the bunch. He's got 164 current ability, which would make him one of the best players in the game if he reaches that. So the early signs are that Barnet isn't making their money work, and Oldham have got some players for the future. But will it be third time lucky for these two teams? Well, that is correct. Oldham win the league and Barnet get promoted by beating Woking in the playoff final. Both of these teams should be good enough to stay up in League 2 next season, and to be fair, if Barnet spend their money right, they'll go straight up, and if Oldham can get their players developed nicely, they'll also go straight up in my opinion. So, what happens? Well, Oldham do go straight up. They win the league title. Barnet, though, just miss out on the playoffs by 4 or 5 points there or so. So unlucky for Barnet, but Oldham, really impressive. I mean, look at all of these players in their first team they developed. They've all got insane potential abilities. But they did lose their previous best player for just £675,000. That feels criminal. Barnet is still splashing the cash, though, with players still earning well over £10,000, and this guy being their highest earner on £30,000 a week. But he's only got 95 current ability, which is okay for League 2. Personally, I feel let down by Barnet. We've given them all the money in the world, but they just can't seem to produce. And it gets even worse in Season 5, where, as you can see, they've dropped down to 18th place in the table. What are they doing? I mean, in 5 seasons, they have spent £500 million almost. Last season, they spent nearly £10 million on wages, at £6.5 on ground maintenance, £3 million on bonuses. How are they spending £6.5 million on the Hive Stadium with 6,500 seats? That doesn't quite seem realistic, does it? The worst part is they are about to fail financial fair play because they're spending too much on wages. If they can't get promoted, it's going to mean they're going to have a transfer embargo in place. If they got promoted to League 1, then the financial fair play is a bit more lenient for them, so they're really shooting themselves in the foot by not getting themselves promoted. If they get the embargo, things are going to go even worse for them, and they might even get relegated. League 1 though, and things are going amazingly well for Oldham because they've got themselves promoted again. They're up to the Championship. They are just producing tons of wonder kids. Their best players here by potential ability are all teenagers. The team are producing. This Tommy Richards guy has come from Oldham, for example. Jack Dawes, he comes from Oldham. Even this French guy, I'm not going to try and pronounce his name at all because I'll just get it completely wrong, but he's come from Oldham too. So can they get another promotion in a row? The answer is no. They got relegated, coming 24th in the Championship. Not a great season for them. It's quite the opposite to what they had before. It's a real shame, but I guess not all good things can last forever. But of course, with player development, there's going to be a limit at some point because the players they brought through probably aren't good enough for the Championship yet at the age of 18, 19, 20. So give it a few years, let them get better. I'm sure they'll get themselves up back into the Championship and towards the Premier League. Barnet have had a bit of a recovery. They are up to 11th place, so maybe they're starting to spend a little wiser and bring the players in that they need to, but they are still unable to get themselves into League 1. So let's speed things up a little bit and jump into Season 10. Oh God, where Barnet have just been relegated from League 2. What has happened to them? I mean, they've still got £473 million in the bank account. They've got no manager, obviously. They've just been sacked, clearly. They have been putting money into the training facilities though, because they were way lower before. It's now up to 18 out of 20. Youth facilities and junior coaching, youth recruitment, not quite as good, but they are putting money into these facilities. It's a very weird season for them because they've been sort of bouncing around mid-table quite a bit and then suddenly relegated. This was not meant to happen. This was not part of the plan. And they've only got one player on big wages, this guy called Jack Spong, who was there before actually on £30,000 a week, but he is obviously looking for his options in his contract, so he's going to leave, I assume, but not for big money because no one else at this level is going to pay him that sort of money. They have failed financial fair play a couple times in League Two, but not recently, so it's not like they've just failed it and had to sell every player they possibly could on big money. They just were bad this season. Oldham, on the other hand, have come 10th in the Championship and look to be a pretty decent Championship side now. They've been in the Championship. Actually, this is their first season back in the Championship. We saw them get relegated, took a few years to get back to the Championship, and then have had a decent season in England's second division. Again, looking at the potential ability of the players, there's no one there that's like a world beater, so I assume they are selling quite a few players who have got the high potential ability ranges. Let's jump to season 15 now. Where Barnet have just narrowly avoided relegation from League Two. I don't understand how they've been so bad. We literally gave them £1 billion. They've been up and down a few times actually from non-league. This is ridiculous. They have failed financial fair play again recently, and I'll be honest, I don't typically see this. When we have given billions of pounds to clubs before, I don't typically see them fail financial fair play, or if they do fail financial fair play, they've still spent enough money on players to get themselves promoted either way, so it doesn't really matter to them. But clearly Barnet are just having a terrible time. Although they are paying upwards of £30,000 on quite a few players here, including £67,000 a week on this regen, who looks abysmal. Oldham, on the other hand, have just lost in the Championship playoff semi-finals. They came 6th in the table, but Everton ended up getting promoted via the playoffs. So Oldham have had a fantastic time. They've stayed in the Championship and have had playoffs just the once actually. It's literally their first season having playoffs. So hopefully next time we see them, they will be up in the Premier League. Just for comparison, their highest earner is on £23,000 a week. That's ridiculous. But player development has really slowed down. Under 18 squad, no one's over 150 potential ability. Obviously the players that come in are attracted by the great facilities the team have got, so clearly it's just working out nicely for Oldham. Big jump this time, let's go to season 25, where Barnet have just once again avoided relegation to the National League in League Two. What has gone wrong with Barnet in this? I mean, look at like South Shields, for example, they've just come 4th, still got £150 million left, though they've not failed it for like 5 years or so. So I don't know what's gone wrong with them. They are managed by Brennan Johnson though. What a career Brennan Johnson's had, by the way. Nottingham Forest, Man City, Barcelona, Sevilla. What a career that is. Even he can't save Barnet. Their highest earner is on £52,000 a week and actually looks fairly good for this sort of level actually, with 14 finishing, 13 composure. Physicals aren't bad either. Actually, I kind of like this guy for League Two, but clearly no one around him can do anything. Oldham just missed out on Championship playoffs this season. They came 7th, as you can see, which is a very decent position for them. They are managed by Marcus Rashford of all people as well. His career, by the way, if you're interested, went from Man United to Crystal Palace on a free transfer, and then that was it. So slightly less interesting than Brennan Johnson's career. And Oldham did spend one season in the Premier League. As you can see here, they got promoted in the 2041-42 season and then came 19th the following season in the Premier League and have been flirting with the playoffs ever since. So for everyone who said at the start of the video they'd rather have £1 billion, myself included, we were wrong. Unless Barnet are just really badly managed and someone else can do it much better. But in this instance, Oldham did way better, and I think I'd rather have those perfect facilities.